Now that we have an understanding of the basics of the market in the book, passive and active orders, market orders, limit orders, I want to talk about priority rules. These govern the mechanics of trading, or figuring out which passive orders are going to be matched with incoming active orders. I am going to add a piece of information that you will see in a live market and might have noticed on the RIT market book, a broker ID. This identifies who has entered the order. In RIT, ANON or ANON is the computer robot trader. But when we trade in class, you will also see an ID for other students in the class. In this example, 80 is the broker ID for National Bank, 2 is RBC, 79 is CIBC, 85 is Scotiabank, and so on for each broker who is registered to trade on the exchange. 1 is anonymous, that's the equivalent of ANON in RIT, which a trader can select instead of disclosing their broker ID. Not all exchanges provide this information. The reason for disclosing or not disclosing depends on the strategies or behaviors that traders want to use or avoid. If your broker number indicates you are a large broker, like a big bank, other traders may react to that information. Some might choose anonymous to not disclose this information. Of course, the market then tries to figure out who is anonymous. You will experience this as we trade the RIT cases. Back to the priority rules. The first priority is price priority. Buy orders at higher prices, trade before buy orders at lower prices. Sells at lower prices, trade before sells at higher prices. We see this in how the book is organized. The second priority is called time priority. This means that the first order entered at any given price has time priority and will trade before orders that were entered at the same price but at a later time. In the example, RBC has time priority over broker 9, which is BMO. Sell orders at $10 will trade with RBC's order before BMO's order. The third priority is broker priority, or broker preferencing. This means that active orders will trade with passive orders at a given price from the same broker first. This can overcome or go around time priority, or you could switch the second and third priorities as I've described them. In the example, if BMO sells 200 shares at $10, the broker priority will be triggered and BMO will buy the 200 shares at $10 even though RBC has time priority. This is an incentive to disclose your broker ID to overcome the time priority. RIT uses price and time priority but not broker priority. Since each student is effectively their own broker, the broker priority would mean you would be trading with yourself, which is called a wash trade and doesn't actually buy or sell any shares and is illegal in a real market anyways. These priority rules are important. They will influence your trading decisions, how you trade. We will discuss this more in the next video. Market and limit are not the only types of orders. Different exchanges offer various choices, but there are 3 popular order types you should be aware of. The first is called an iceberg order. This type of order discloses only a portion of its total volume in the book. It is a way for traders to enter large orders while avoiding the reaction that large orders might create. Iceberg orders are discovered when volume at a price exceeds the disclosed volume. For example, we have 500 shares bid at $9.98. This is an iceberg order which is discovered when it buys more than the posted 500 shares. After each 500 shares is bought, the iceberg reloads by posting another 500 shares. In this case, it reposted or reloaded many times, ultimately buying 3,900 shares. The iceberg order keeps reloading until its volume is filled. Iceberg orders create a problem for traders who want to cross a large block of shares. Sometimes traders will arrange for a large trade with a single counterparty to save from having to go into the open market. This is called the upstairs or the crossing market. Large orders in the open market could possibly cause the price to change. For example, somebody could buy enough that they push the price up, and that obviously increases the cost of purchasing those shares. Normally, the block trade cannot be posted outside of the BBO. In our example, if traders want to execute a block trade at $9.97, they would first have to fill all of the shares bid at $9.98. The order would essentially sweep the book down to the designated price. We know that the 998 bid is an iceberg order, but we don't know the size. In this case, the buyer would be missing out on any shares bought by the undisclosed or hidden part of the iceberg order. To prevent this, the cross would be executed as a bypass order, literally bypassing any undisclosed orders in the book. The bypass order sweeps the visible orders in the book, but does not fill any undisclosed volume. In our example, the 100 shares displayed by the iceberg would be filled by the bypass order, but nothing beyond that. The rest of the cross can execute at 997 without interference. The iceberg order is hiding part of its volume. There is another order type called a dark order that hides all of its volume. Dark orders do not show up in the market book, but they do execute against trades that enter the market. For example, there could be a dark order to sell 1,000 shares at $10.03, but this is not displayed to anyone. As far as the market knows, the best offer is 200 shares at $10.04. If someone tries to buy the 200 shares at $10.04, it would execute against the dark order at $10.03. The dark order is not visible, but the trade execution is evidence that there is a dark order at $10.03. Like the iceberg, the information about the dark order is uncovered by the market as it trades. Different exchanges offer different rules or features for dark orders. In some cases, the dark order won't trade unless it is the entire volume, or only at the midpoint of the bid-ask spread or some other terms. Some exchanges, called dark pools, only allow dark orders. For dark pools, nothing about the passive orders are disclosed, but trades that are executed are reported. You can try to estimate what orders are in the market, or simply try your luck. Think about the market structure in this and the previous video, and the pros and cons of each. Many of these will become apparent as we work through the RIT cases. Open order books are transparent and reduce uncertainty about liquidity, but also give away information. If I can see that you are buying, I might try to buy ahead of you, which increases the price you will pay. Quote-driven markets are less transparent, passive orders are hidden, but the specialist could be the one taking advantage of the order flow information. This is the primary reason why order-driven markets have replaced quote-driven stock markets. The upstairs market seeks to reduce trading information disclosure, but is less liquid because you have to find a counterparty to your large trade. Dark pools are the opposite of order-driven markets. Complete protection from somebody trading against or ahead of you, but increased uncertainty about liquidity. IROC publishes monthly market statistics on their website. Here is the market share by exchange for the last 4 quarters. There are many exchanges, each offering different order types, pricing, hours, etc. Most are open order market books like the Toronto Stock Exchange, but MatchNow, for example, is a dark pool, and LiquidNet is a crossing market.